Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be with you this evening. It's been a long time since I've really been out and about. It's been a long time. So I'm pleased to come back and visit y'all. Hope y'all can understand me. I'm a little bit of a southern boy. A lot of people don't understand that Lincoln was born. I was born in Kentucky. We talk pretty backwoods, pretty southern. Then I moved to Indiana. We didn't get a whole lot less southern when we went to Indiana either. So if you don't understand me, just raise your hand. I'll see if I can talk a little more Yankee for y'all. Anyway, I have come back to set the record straight, let you guys know some of the things that really happened. A lot of people don't know what really happened. One of the things that people don't know about is my duel. Anybody know that I was involved in a duel? A man challenged me to a duel to the death. So we're going to talk just a little bit about that and let y'all know what really happened, all right? So, can you hear me above the music? Are we okay here?
No.
A little closer?
We need,
Hold the mic up, please.
Hold the
we
mic up.
might need the mic turned up a little bit. Hey, David, can you turn the mic up just a little bit? Or maybe Ron, if we just go a little more gentle, if we can. Just a little, I mean,
When you use a microphone, hold it directly in this direction and about 6 inches away.
All right, now how am I coming through now, you guys?
yes.
See, back in my day, I didn't have a microphone. I don't know about these things. But if I can get this right, then y'all can hear me. I could just kind of see y'all back in the back saying, I don't think I can hear this guy. How about now? You hearing me? All right. Okay. Very good. So this is just a short story. I'm not going to keep you guys all night long here. All right. Just going to let you know a little bit about what happened when I was just a young man of 33. So I had been in the state legislature, but now at this time I was just acting as an attorney. So I wasn't doing a lot in politics, but the Bank of Illinois, the state bank, it had said, all right, I know we've been giving you all money, you all been giving us gold and silver for money, but now we are in hard times, we are closing down, we are no longer going to honor the paper that you have been working for and paying your gold and silver for, we're no longer going to honor that. And I was like, I don't think that's cool. I'll bet that our government in the state of Illinois is going to stop them from doing that. And so the state auditor, a guy by the name of James Shields, he came out and he said, we are going to allow this. We are going to let them go bankrupt. We are going to let them take all that money and run with it. And I was like, I don't think that's okay at all. And so I started writing papers. I wrote letters in the Sangamo Journal. So here I was in Springfield, all right? Okay, Springfield, writing these letters. And pretty soon, everyone was reading these letters in the Sangamo Journal about James Shields. And I talked about James Shields saying, oh, ladies, I am so sorry that I am so handsome and so interesting. I'm sorry that I cannot marry you at all. So I started making fun of James Shields in ways that I really shouldn't have done. So James Shields, he's like, whoa, I am mad, I'm angry. And people were laughing about him, which is what I had intended. But as a young man, I had learned to imitate and to mimic and to make fun of people. And so I kind of hate to admit it, but I hadn't learned a whole lot of diplomacy by this time. So I also wrote about the hardships of this Rebecca and Jeff that were working like crazy to be able to pay their bills, and now all of a sudden they couldn't pay the bills. And all this was landing on this James Shields. So, now we have an angry man. And back in this day, what did people do when their honor was challenged? They would fight to the death. So James Shields, according to etiquette, he sent his first. No, I guess it would be called his second. He sent his second to me and said, y'all better apologize or else. So he had a letter written from James Shields, and the letter was very threatening. Well, I was a little bit angered by this. I had always been bigger than anybody else. I was taller than anybody else. I was stronger than anybody else. And so I was accustomed to getting my way. And if it came time to fight, I never did lose a fight. But when James came and he said, I want you to back down, I wasn't so happy. So I said, James, ask me just a little bit nicer. Maybe I will apologize. So James, he was an Army veteran. He was then an Army veteran, even though he was the state auditor. And he said, I just simply challenge you, Mr. Lincoln, to a duel. And I was like, whoa. So you couldn't really refuse a duel and keep your honor back in this day. But as the recipient of the duel, I get to choose the weapons. So James Shields, he was a crack shot. I wish I had some of the pistols that were special dueling pistols. Dueling pistol has one bullet in it. And each of you gets to shoot one time. But I didn't really want to get killed. And I really didn't even want to kill James Shields. So I figured, well, I will use my superior strength, and I will choose weapons that will allow me to disarm him without getting killed or without killing James. And I'm kind of glad I kept from killing James, because he later on, 20 years later, he was the only general we ever had that defeated Thomas Stonewall Jackson. Well, let me show you what I did in order to keep me and James alive, all right? I chose swords. I chose broadswords. Now, this is not a broadsword, but I can't get the scabbard off of this, and I'm going to have a 7-foot sword here in a second. So this is a two-handed sword, but the sword that I was using, the broadsword, was a sword that we did indeed use in the military, in the cavalry, at that time. So, I never did find anybody else who could hold an axe, a 7-pound axe, between the thumb and the finger at full length. Nobody. I used to ask other very strong men to try and duplicate my trick, and nobody could do it. And so I thought, well, if I use swords, I could keep us both alive. Well, dueling was illegal in Illinois. So he and I said, all right, we're going to go across the state border into Missouri, which is where dueling was legal. So just across the border, there's a place called Bloody Island. I went out there, I dug a pit on Bloody Island, and I put a board across the middle of the pit. So there was no way to get across the board. You couldn't go around the board because you were down in the pit. And if you stepped across the board, according to the agreement I made, if you stepped across it, you would forfeit your life. So, all we could do was reach each other across this board. So I was 6'4", I had very long arms, I was enormously strong, and he was 5'9". He was a fearless man and a good athlete, but I could reach him, and he couldn't reach me. The advantage was definitely mine. So when we got there on September 22nd, bright and early in the morning, I was out there slicing down tree branches that he couldn't reach. I thought, well, he's going to get the message here that this is going to be, these odds are in my favor. But the man was fearless. He went right ahead. He's still coming. He's still coming. We're getting ready to go down to the pit. And a man by the name of James Harden came along and he said, hey, you guys. What if you guys, instead of fighting, what if you guys all became friends? And we did. We became friends. We never did fight. We never did kill each other. And I am so grateful to be able to later on nominate him to become a lieutenant general, one of the highest positions, the highest ranking positions in the military in the United States. And he was one of our great Civil War captains. Many people did end up going to the South, but not James Harden. Not James Shields. He stayed faithful and was a marvelous asset to America. Now, to finish up, just want you to know that the banks were the cause. They were what really brought this all about. That they were what were the cause of this problem. 20 years later, so now we're going to fast forward from 1842. We're going to go fast forward to 1861. I needed money for the Civil War. The South left America, and they said, we are in rebellion, and they fired upon Fort Sumter. And I said, it is time for us to bring up, to get some soldiers. I ordered up 75,000 soldiers. That's a lot of soldiers, that's a lot of food, that's a lot of boots, that's a lot of guns. We needed a lot of money. And so I went to the Rockefeller, to the Rothschild banks in New York, and I said, I'm going to need a lot of money. They said, we like the sounds of that. We'll be loaning you money for between 24 and 37%. And I said, I don't think I can swing that. So I went back home without my money. And I said to one of my trusted advisors, a guy by the name of Dick Taylor, I said, what am I going to do? I need money. And he said, you're going to do what governments are supposed to do. They're the only ones that are allowed to print money. Look at your Constitution. I said, you want me to print money? And he said, yes. I said, but I don't have any gold. In fact, if I had gold and silver, I wouldn't be printing any money. And he said, this is the way it's supposed to be done. This is the way that Benjamin Franklin did it. This was originated in what was called colonial script. And you're going to do it, and you're going to tell the legislature to declare it as legal tender. I said, I think that might work. And he had me print that money up so it looked really beautiful. And then the legislature, according to my request, they declared it as legal tender, and I printed up $450 million in Lincoln greenbacks. And we won the war. And a lot of it was because we had money and because the North prospered under correct money. Now, not everybody was quite so happy with me printing money. Today, you look around, our government doesn't print money. We got a private organization that prints money, and so whoever prints the money, they get the value. So when the monarchs in Europe saw that I was printing my own money and I wasn't going to the Rothschilds, they said, "Oh, this will never do. If this is happening, we are going to be making money the old-fashioned way. We're going to be back to work, work, work." Well, that was one of the things that brought about my demise. Y'all keep that in mind. Very important for y'all to know how this all came about. And I'm here to set the record straight. I'd like to have a short little rendition of Mine Eyes Have Seen. I love that song. I love that song. When this song was originally written, the words were written to say, as he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free. Today, most of you are familiar with it as he died to make men holy, let us live to make men free. But we had millions, well, hundreds of thousands of people who were willing to give up their lives in the flower of their youth in order to preserve the Constitution and this nation that was established by God. Thank you very much.
Debbie Peterson. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Lincoln the first one to print money then?
Thank you, Ron.
So we had a question here. She just asked if Lincoln was the first one to print his own money, and Benjamin Franklin, he was the first one to print colonial script. And the Europeans, they asked Benjamin Franklin why exactly the colonies were so prosperous, and he said, because we print our own money, we print the right amount, and we put it into circulation based on land banks. And so that way you get the right amount. But the most important thing is you don't have these banks becoming spectacularly wealthy. You have governments becoming wealthy, so you can either have governments becoming wealthy or you can have banks becoming wealthy. And if banks become wealthy, then you don't know where that money goes. The only way to control that is to make sure that the governments print that money, and that the governments become wealthy, and they are bound by the Constitution. Today, so Andrew Jackson, just a few years before I became president, he got rid of the private bank that was printing the money and making all that money. And by the time I came along, we didn't have a private bank, but the government still was not printing money until Dick Taylor said, Lincoln, you want to give that a try? Start printing money like you're supposed to.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Ron. And here we have Debbie.
You did great. Thank you. Good job.
Yeah, we just wanted, Brian wanted to get his presentation going so that he can do it through at least the